Welcome everybody to another EDH deck tech, and today I'm bringing you Emmara. I built this one over the last few days, especially after seeing her, and I've been really wanting to make a green-white token build for quite a while, and there's several that's inside my locals, and I didn't want to make one that somebody already has, and so far I seem to be the only one wanting to make Emmara, at least in our group. And I've devised a deck list that I've played over and over again and becoming more accustomed to playing it. And I've got most of the pieces to it, honestly. And I just got to collect the last few of the newer ones and a couple older cards that are a little bit harder to find. At least, that just don't float around because they're just cheap cards. So let's go ahead and get into the deck. First off, of course, the commander is Emmara. Whenever she becomes tapped, which is the key word, not when she attacks, not when she does combat damage, when she is tapped, you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. Now, with that one, we can do token ramp, we can do a whole bunch of life gain stuff. And being that she's a 2-drop 2/2, which is amazing already, it's so easy to just keep putting her out, even if she dies. Going into the deck, we threw the other Emmara in there. Prevent all damage to be dealt to tokens you control. Gotta have it. Divine Visitation, one of the new cards. Whatever your one more creature tokens would be created under your control, make that many 4/4 white angel tokens with flying and vigilance instead. That's ridiculous. Especially in a token build, especially like Emmara, when you start dropping tokens after tokens. A 5-drop that does that is completely ridiculous, especially when you start making doubles of tokens and multiples. Next is Camaraderie. A nice draw card. You gotta have some kind of draw. Dawn of Hope. Going with the life gain. Create more soldiers with lifelink. Make sure you got your draw. Tristani. Gotta have Tristani. Also keeps make sure your creatures don't get taken control of. At least for that long. Cryptolith Light, right? Gotta have it in there. When you make all those tokens, be able to drop more things. Ashnod's Altar. Sacking your tokens off to make some mana. Mana is always amazing. Nature's Chosen, this is to go on Emmara, so you can untap her, or tap her, to keep doing, different little combo things. Quest for Renewal, so you can constantly untap her, just like with Seaborn Muse. Scroll up here. We got Paradise Mantle, just another way of tapping, and it's a 0-drop with 1 equipped, so it's not that bad. Plus, somebody's just gonna wreck a Paradise Mantle. Next is Honor Worn Shaku. It's basically the same, the same kind of thing. You just want to tap your commander, and it adds more mana, so earlier ramp. Springleaf Drum, same thing. Nordic Possession, multiple token creator. Especially when you have multiple of these out and you start ramping tokens, it's ridiculous. Skull Clamp, a staple. Seeker of Skybreak, keep your commander untapped and tapping it again. Swords removal. The other swords, combo piece, make sure you can tap and untap your commander at will. Same thing with Umbral Mana. Mentor of the Meek, draw power. Parallel Lives, more tokens. Growing Rights, because when you flip it, you get a Gaia's Cradle for a cheaper, way cheaper card. Throne of the God Pharaoh, because when you're tapping down all your creatures, or if you swing with all your creatures, at the end of your turn, you're going to be burning somebody for a lot of life, especially if you have a lot of creatures, and it stacks up, it keeps going. Next we got Glare Up Subdual. It's basically just another tapping mechanism. A doubling season, another multi-token generator. It's doubling season, you can't not have doubling season in here. Heroic Intervention, you want to protect all those tokens that you have. Beast Within, another removal. You want to make sure you have plenty of removal, plenty of draw, and you want to make sure you have plenty of something, some kind of, be able to take down bad things your opponents have to stop you from playing, because there's a lot of things that shut down token creation, especially in EDH. Next up is Aura Shards. You gotta have it in there. You start dropping all those tokens, you start taking care of many nasty things. It's one of the, as soon as you drop the Aura Shards, though, you're gonna become a big target. It's Aura Shards. If you play enough EDH, as soon as the Aura Shards drops, you gotta get rid of it. Next up, of course, for green-white staple is Mari's Wake. Not only does it make all your tokens a little bit bigger, but also you can double up your mana. Next is Stony Brook Skullmaster. Basically exactly what your commander does, except it makes merfolk wizards instead. So it's another option. Ewit, you gotta have Ewit in there. You gotta have some kind of recursion to get back pieces that get destroyed. Catannual Hierophants, hopefully I said that correctly. And it's another tapper. You get more mana. Massive amount of mana. You can in this build, you can probably run some Eldrazi's if you want. I didn't want to play around that way. I just wanted mostly token generation and tapping effects. There's multiple things you can add in there. Genesis Wave and stuff like that would be really amazing to run in here as well. Like I said, I'm still moving things around, and if I run into something I really don't like, I might switch it out for more things. That's another one that's a good one to throw in here. Next is Dolmen Shepherd. You tap 4 untapped creatures, destroy an artifact or enchantment. It's basically like an Aura Shards, except you just gotta tap your creatures, which is not bad in this deck. Next up is Craterhoof Behemoth. He's in there for that win con. You know, when you're going to go drop him down, going for your win, and that's it. That's what he's in there for, that push, that final push. Plus his art's completely amazing. Next is the Voice of Plenty. That's another way of protecting your creatures and also making them bigger. For 6 mana to put a 1/1 counter on each of them, she's amazing. I was going to actually make a commander deck around her at one point, but I didn't really want to, you know, do her as my commander, and I just didn't end up doing it. It's cool, but I wanted a commander that generated tokens like Rise, but there's multiple Rise redeemed players in my group, so I didn't do Rise as well. And then Masako, and she's definitely a key piece. You can flash her in. Tap creature control may block as though they were untapped. That's completely amazing. It's like Vigilance, Pseudo-Vigilance, but you don't even have to worry about even having Vigilance because you're tapping creatures for abilities, and they can still block. So all these tokens you're tapping down to do fun stuff, now they can also block. Excuse me. And then of course, Rise of Redeemed. Be able to double up your tokens, make more tokens, and he's only a 1-drop. Jazal Goldmane, he's just like a Craterhoof Behemoth when you're trying to go for your win con, and you're swinging out with a whole bunch. You pump them all up, they all get super huge, and you go in for your win. Corrosive Grip, another removal. Join Shields, it's another way of saving your creatures so they don't get wiped. Or if you have enough mana and you need a board wipe plus protect your own, it's a good way of doing that. Since we don't have black in our decks to run things that destroy all your opponent's creatures. Next up is Secure the Waste. Just a huge token generator. Next up is Harvest Season. Since you're running so many tokens, you might as well run this in there so you can get mass amounts of mana. Next up is Kodama's Reach. You know, just some ramping. Good early ramping. Same thing with Cultivate. Wrath of God. Because we all need those board wipes, right? You never know when you're in a situation where you're getting overpowered by somebody and you need a board wipe. Same thing with Dusk. Especially when you got all those little creatures. Destroying all creatures with power 3 or greater could just wipe out everybody else. And then having Dawn, where you return all creatures with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. It's a great way to get back all those good creatures that's going to be getting knocked out quite a bit. But we do have Hour of Reckoning, destroy all non-token creatures. So if we have a huge board of tokens and we're going for that win, Hour of Reckoning is the way to do that as well. And if you have enough mana, if you have that for that, and Craterhoof, that'd be amazing. Next is a Shamanic Revelation. You gotta have that in there for the draw and the life gain, especially if you've gotten them all bigger, like you've been bumping them up, get them up before pass, and you're gonna gain a whole bunch of life and draw a whole bunch of cards. Harmonize is in there for the same reason, some draw power. Soul Ring's in there for a little bit of ramp. 1,000-Year Elixir, you want to be able to use your creatures instantly to tap them down for abilities. Also has the untap mechanism to work with your commander and other creatures. Next is Slate of Ancestry. You discard your hand, draw a card for each creature you control. Now, when you're, especially in a green-white deck, when you're running out of your draw cards, you have just a whole bunch of creatures on the field, your hand's empty or near empty, you just ditch what you got left or nothing at all, and you draw a whole mess of cards and go for that win. Next is Puppet Strings. I actually did not know this card exists. I seen it when I was looking for synergizing cards for the deck. And this one, you just tap it. You may tap or untap target creature. This is a simple tap or untapper, and I love its art. I love the art. I can't wait. I don't got this card at all. I can't wait to order multiple copies. Next up, of course, is Thorn Staff. Everybody knows about Thorn Staff. Equipped creature has tap 2, tap this. This creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, untap this creature. Whenever a shaman creature comes into play, you may attach Thorn Staff to it. Now, the last part of that's not very important. But the first part, where this creature deals 1 damage to a creature, and whenever a creature is put into a graveyard from play, untap this creature. This, if you got this on your commander, every time something dies, you can just tap Emmara in order to create another token. Now, if you have something else equipped to her, you might not even have to pay 2 with Thorn Staff to do this, and it just becomes really nasty as it goes on. Thorn Staff is one of the key pieces in this deck, to be honest. Out of equipment. Excuse me, sorry about that. Going on, now we got Eldrazi Monument. Of course, it's a staple of any token deck. You want all your creatures flying and indestructible, who don't. And sacrificing 1 each turn, that's not a big deal, because you can just tap your commander for a 1. Moving on. Paradox Engine. Why not? Every time you cast a spell and tap non-land permanents. Easy way to generate tons of tokens really fast. Helm of the Host. Gotta have that in there. You want many Emmaras or any of the other legendary creatures you got in your deck? Boom, Helm of the Host. So much fun. And you can make copies of Emmara and just swing them out for fun. Next up is Sylvan Library. Quite an expensive card, but it's needed in the deck for more draw power. Draw power is, you've seen all the draw cards, but having more draw power, especially in EDH, is not a bad thing. And Sylvan Library, even if you don't want to pay the life for it, you basically get the Scry 3, so it's amazing. Next up is Recon Assist, which is a pseudo-vigilance card. I fell in love with this card since my friend was using it, and it's really good for this deck. So basically, you remove target attacking creature from you control from combat and untap it. It's 2 attacks, it's 2 tapped, it did all those things, and you moved it from combat now, and it's untapped again, and now you can tap Emmara for other things. She didn't have to worry about dying through attacks. It's a really amazing card. Reconnaissance is a must in the deck. Next up is Dolmen Gate. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. This stops, when you're swinging in with all those tokens, put in some damage, which you don't want to lose all your tokens. Just swing them. Or your commander. Next up is Presence of God. I actually played a game where I dropped this on Emmara, and also dropped something that untaps her, and just kept doing it. So I'm making 2 tokens per time I tap her, and then I ended up getting a token doubler on the field, and was getting 4 tokens per tap. Presence of God is a must-have in the deck, just because it just adds another token onto your commander. It's basically doubling up tokens, so you gotta have it. Next up is Cathars Crusade. It's another must for token decks. You drop into this creature after creature after creature. All your creatures are getting super massive, and then you push for that win. Next up is Intangible Virtue, another token deck staple. Next up is Diversionary Tactics. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control, tap target creature. Another way of protecting yourself, especially if there's some really big things, or flyers, which this deck has a problem with, is dealing with flyers. And then we're going to go get into our lands. I'm just going to go over them really quickly, just so you can see some ideas. It's all basic staple stuff for lands, Temple Garden. These 2 are some notable mentions. Tap and untap creature control to add any mana of any color to your mana pool. You don't really need to color fixing, but it's another way to getting to something that taps your commander without having to attack her. That's really the goal of any kind of competitive or casual EDH kind of, competitive casual EDH. You want to be able to not, especially with a 2/2 commander, you want to be able to use her without having her die. And just being able to tap her with a land, it's not a bad. It's pretty good to have in there. They're must-haves. The other thing else is just, staple, multi, probably got Windbreast, Windswept, Scattergroves, Temple Pony, Emmara, Command Beacon, Sungrass Prairie, all those fun things. I hope you guys all enjoyed my Emmara EDH deck. Let me know what you thought of it, what you would change, what you'd put in, and I will continue working on it as well. And when I have it fully built, I might redo this video and do it with the actual deck itself. As always, like and subscribe for more if you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out Dango Palman's channel. It's quite amazing. He has a lot of good videos, and he's continually bringing out more content as we speak. He only has a few for now, but he's working on more, and it's really great to see. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of entertaining. Currently, he's playing South Park, the new Fractured Butthole. Check out that play. I'll put the link in my description. And I'll be bringing more EDH decks with you here soon. The next one I actually want to do is Tatyova, which is one of my favorite commanders of decks I've built and am currently working on. This one's just a little more expensive, and I'll be going through this one as well here soon. As always, this is Shadow Child from AKU Clan, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you all for watching my video. Goodbye.